Hey, good morning, everyone. Morning warm up here. This morning I was listening to a podcast called Feel Better, Live More, and I'll put a link to it in here. And it was interviewing Mel Robbins, and she was talking about the high five habit. But one of the things I want to ask you is how many of us seek validation from other people, or we need that validation from other people, or we get really impacted by people when they have judgment against us, or when something happens to us that's not positive, we beat ourselves up and we blame ourselves. And one of the things she talks about in there is that, the best thing you can do for yourself is to validate yourself. And she listened to the podcast because she talks just about her experience with it. But, she says in there that 50% of people in the mornings when they go into the bathroom, right, they can't look at themselves in the mirror because they're not happy with what they see. And that's kind of sad, right? And then there's another portion of those people that actually do look at themselves in the mirror, but when they do, they beat themselves up and they don't give themselves validation. So if you want to have a life where you're not basically living in other people's judgment, the best thing you can do is to validate yourself. And she talks about the high five habit, right? So when you wake up in the morning, you take a look at yourself, you say, hey, you're wonderful, you're terrific. And you give yourself a high five. In fact, maybe you don't even say anything at all. I think that's what she says, no words. Just look at yourself and give yourself a high five. So one of the things that I would challenge all of you is to ask yourself and really think about it. Who are you the hardest on? Are you the hardest on yourself? Do you beat yourself up when you don't achieve what you want to achieve? Are you hypercritical of you? Do you seek other people to validate you? Do you need that? Do you have to show up and do things so that for the sole purpose of getting validation? If that's the case, then maybe you want to investigate a little bit more about how you start to validate yourself and how you start to give yourself self-worth and say, you know what? I'm good enough. I've got this. I'm doing the best with what I have, and I'm going to continue on, and I'm playing the long game, and I'm just going to keep showing up every day. And you know what's beautiful is when you start to validate yourself and you start to build that self-worth, it doesn't matter what other people think. And here's the reality of it is, at the end of the day, people don't think much about you anyways. They think more about themselves. What they'll do is they'll look at you and they'll see a situation happening and they may cast judgment, but that stays for a very short period of time and then they're back on themselves. Yet we will spend a majority of our lives worrying about what other people think. So my point to this one today is start validating yourself. Start growing your own self-worth, because what you'll find is when you validate yourself and you grow your self-worth, the world wants you to win and opportunities are abundant. All right? I want you to think about that. All right, everybody, be awesome, help somebody, and make it a great day.